Hey guys, this is Andre from Cryptomaton, and today I want to show you how to build a Bitcoin trading bot in Python. Before we start, this tutorial assumes you have a basic understanding of Python, but I'll try to cover everything you need in order to complete this project. There are links to a detailed guide in the description as well as a GitHub repository, so please check those out for more information or to complete this project in your own time. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more awesome crypto bot building guides and ideas. And sometimes memes. Thank you. Let's start by defining the strategy of our bot as well as the logic it will be operating on. We're only going to buy Bitcoin when the Bitcoin price jumps by at least 3% in the last 10 minutes in an attempt to catch an even higher increase. We're going to take the profit 10% and we have a stop loss for 5%. We're only going to be using 10% equity per trade and there's only going to be one active trade at any given moment. This bot is integrated with MetaTrader 5, which is the trading platform that supports a multitude of brokers. I really like coding on it because it's really easy to integrate with Python and it's quick and yeah, it's great. So you will need a MetaTrader 5 account and a XBTFX account, which is the broker that we're going to be working with. You won't need a live account, you will just create a demo account, so don't worry about like payment or anything like that. It's all free, but you will need those set up, so I will leave the links down below. Okay, let's make a start. First thing you want to import is OS, which helps you manage your environment variables. The next thing is datetime, so from datetime import datetime. This will help us with the range of the data. You'll also need to import time as well, which helps us loop through the code and pause. Ether tools will be needed as well, so from ether tools import count. And the last module that we need is MetaTrader 5 as MT5. This will be needed in order to connect to the MetaTrader 5 terminal. Also, quick side note here, you will need to install this via pip. So now that we're finished with defining the variables, we're going to start by defining a variable for the cryptocurrency that we'll be using for trading. So we'll go ahead and create a variable called crypto and give this the value of BTC USD. XBTFX expects us to always add USD at the end, otherwise it will not process the request regardless of the coin, so just make sure to add that in. The next step after we've defined our cryptocurrency is we're going to define when to trade, how to take profit, and how to set our stop loss. Remember, we said that we're only going to trade when Bitcoin goes up by at least 3% in the last 10 minutes. So we're going to create a variable called price_threshold and give this a value of 3. Once that's done, we can move on, leave a comment and say that we're going to create a stop loss. So it's generally good practice to leave comments because then you won't get lost in your own code when you're looking for stuff. So go ahead and create a variable of stop loss and give this a value of 5. And now create another comment saying take profit, and right underneath your comment create another variable called take_profit and give this a value of 8. I just realized I've said that we're going to have a take profit of 10% at the end of the video. It's actually going to be 8%, so sorry about that, but let's keep going. Next thing you want to do is you want to connect to the trade account without specifying a password. And that's a really cool thing about the MetaTrader 5, I believe. You can connect to your account only specifying your account number if you're logged into the terminal on your Windows. So we're going to MT5 initialize this, which starts the application. And the next step is to get the account number and then feed the account number to the MetaTrader 5 application in order to authenticate. So I'm making a comment again with the account number located in the top left corner of your MetaTrader 5 window. I'm not actually going to use that account number. I'm going to use an environment variable because I don't want to make that public. But if you don't know where that is, you can just find it in the top left corner. So once you've done your comments, create a variable called account_number and input as a number the account number value in the top left corner. What I'm doing here is I'm using OS get environment and inputting the environment variable that I created for this purpose. Again, it's a demo account, so nothing is actually live. So don't stress about payments or anything. You won't have to go through any of that. Next thing you want to do is create a variable called authorize and give this a value of mt5.login and then your account number variable. I used an int because by default my environment variable would have been pulled as a string. So once this is all done, we need to check that we are connected to the MT5 terminal. This is really easy to do, and again another thing why I really like the MetaTrader 5 integration of Python. So what we're going to do is just create an easy if-else statement. So just go ahead and write if authorized, print, and then you can print any message you want. You can actually even print the account number, but I'm not doing this because again I don't want this to be displayed. So I'm just going to print connected to your account. Now in case this fails, we're going to have an else statement and we're going to print failed to connect to the account number, and we can also pull the last error. So we can actually query MetaTrader 5 to tell us why it failed to connect to our account. So we can either work on our code or see if there's a gateway error or anything like that. Okay, so now that we've checked whether we're authorized to access the account or not, we're going to store the equity of our account. So we're going to do this by creating a new variable and calling on the account info function in the MetaTrader 5 terminal. So create a variable called account_info and give it a value of mt5.account_info and then open and close the brackets. This means its function. We're going to create a quick conditional statement. If account info is none, then we're raising a runtime error that's going to say we could not get the account's equity. If the opposite is true, then we're just going to create the account equity variable. So we're just going to create a new variable called equity, and equity equals account info, the variable that we just created, in index 10. And you notice that I've put float because it needs to be a floating point. Great, so now that we have the equity all set up, we're going to create our first function. And this function is called getDates. So we're going to get the date range for the historical data that we need. So again, I'm writing a comment here in triple quotes just to make it a bit more obvious. It's green rather than gray. So we're using this to define the date range of our dataset. So we're going to create two variables here. One of them is today, and today equals datetime.today. And the second variable is UTC from. And in UTC from, we're going to use today in order to define our variable. So go ahead and follow the following syntax. Datetime, open brackets, year equals today.year. Month equals today.month. And day equals today.day minus 1. You will see that I've put -1 in order to define the date as yesterday's date. So that means that our historical data range is only one day. If you want to define a larger historical data range, then you can put -2, -360. So that is basically where you decide how large your data set is. So now go ahead and create another function called getData, and getData will use the historical data from getDates in order to be able to access the data in the format of 10-minute candles. So again, make a comment and keep it all clean. And now define UTC from and UTC to as getDates. And this is probably where you realize that I never used a return function on getDates. So we'll need to return back to the getDates function in order to return the values that we need. So we need UTC from and datetime.now. Datetime.now function returns the datetime as it is right now when the function is being called. So really useful when you need to work with real-time data. Now go back to getData and return mt5.copy_rates_range and open and close brackets, and then add your crypto. And then the next item defines the next parameter defines the time frame. So do mt5.timeframe underscore m10 UTC from and UTC2. So I'm going to copy this over again just to show it to you in a more user-friendly format. So instead of crypto, it would actually read as BTC USD, so it's our symbol. And instead of UTC from and UTC2, you will actually have dates. So that's how the computer is actually going to see this. So it would have something like 28th of March 2021 and then the time. And the UTC2 would be 28th of March 2021 and then the time. Cool, so I'm just going to delete this and I'm going to go back to the previous return function, and just temporarily I will remove return and I'm just going to use the print function, and I'm just going to put everything in brackets just so we can check whether the historical data is actually being pulled or not. So add your print function and just call the def data function using def data, and there you go. You see the columns, there are 4 or 5 different columns here. The first one represents the date, time, and then the rest of the columns represent the open, the close price, and the volume, I believe. They do have the headers. I didn't print them with the headers, but they are available. The data is available to print with all the headers. So now we're just gonna go ahead and use this data by getting the current prices. So current prices will return the current bid and ask price. If you don't know what that is, the bid price represents the price at which you buy Bitcoin, and the ask price represents the price where what you sell it for. So I've just said crypto there to be a bit more robust in case you want to change from Bitcoin to another cryptocurrency. So go ahead and create a variable called current underscore buy underscore price, and this will equate to mt5.symbol underscore info underscore tick and crypto, which is the symbol that you're using, and index 2. In index 2 is where you'll find the buy price, and then if you do the exact same strategy but only call index 1 is how you're going to get the sell price. So as an example, you could just pull the entire mt5 symbol info tick without the index, and then you will see all the data that it returns. But now we're just going to return the current buy price and the current sell price in this function. Once this is complete, I always like to leave double spacing between my functions just so everything is clear. We're going to actually build the trade function, which determines if we should trade, and if so, we will be sending a request to the MetaTrader 5 terminal. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to import some of the variables that we have created in the previous functions. So we're going to start with the dates. So make a comment, import dates, and then create 2 variables, UTC underscore from, comma, UTC underscore to, and then call the getDates function. The next thing you want to do is import the data. So I'm making another comment and call it import data. And immediately underneath this comment, I'm going to create a new variable called candles and give this the value of the getData function. And now we have the historical data set in our trade function. Once this is done, we can import the current prices. We can import the buy price and the sell price. So make a comment, and underneath the comment, create 2 variables, 2 local variables called current buy price and current sell price, and give those the value of the get current prices function. Next up, we want to check in our trading logic if a position already exists on our crypto. So if there's already an existing trade on BTC USD, and if that's the case, we will then not place the position, as this algorithm will only place a new position if there are no active trades currently. So create a variable called positions and give this the value of mt5.positions underscore get and give this the symbol of crypto. While we're at it, we're also going to create another variable called orders and give it a value of mt5.orders underscore get. So using the same format, and then in brackets, symbol equals crypto. This checks if there will be any orders available, though we're not working with orders, we're just adding the functionality in case we want to change from positions to orders. Orders are fulfilled when a price is reached where positions are being executed instantly. Okay, so the next part of the program will deal with the decision-making logic, when to buy, and also how to detect when there is a good surge in the Bitcoin price. We've already established that we will be buying Bitcoin when the current price raises by at least 3% compared to the previously closed candle. So what we're going to do next is we will be creating a new variable called difference. And this will be equal to the close price of the last candle, not a closed candle, an open candle, but we can query the close price and we will get a live price. So we can say candles close -1 minus candles close -2, which is the close price of the previous candle. And then we will divide all of this by candles close -2, which again, it's a closed candle, it's not a candle that's still going. And then we will multiply all of this by 100. So that's our difference between the current price and the price closed 10 minutes ago in percentages. So once you've got this set up, you can move forward to perform the initial logic check. So we can just do this with a simple conditional statement and say if difference is higher than price threshold, which we've manually input of the value of 3. And then we'll create a print statement saying that our diff1, and I'll explain in a second why we have a diff1 here. So our diff1 for crypto is, and then we can pull the difference as well. In order to make this more readable and user-friendly, I'm going to wrap difference in a round function, and then I'm going to give it another parameter of 2. So what this will do is it will show us the difference and only the last 2 decimal points. You don't want to pull all the decimal points of this equation. Okay, so once we have this sorted, we can move forward and pause the algorithm for 8 seconds. So what we're going to do is, by stopping temporarily and then checking again after 8 seconds, we're making sure that the increase in price is sustained. In my testing, it turned out that a lot of the times the price would go up and then instantly go down, but the algorithm would detect the surge and place a trade and therefore lose. So we're mitigating this by adding a time.sleep8. So if the difference is not higher than price threshold, then we want the console to print out difference for crypto is only round difference, comma 2. So again, just printing the last 2 decimal points of the difference variable. And also we want to let the algorithm, we want the algorithm to let us know that it will be trying again. Okay, so now in order for the second check to work, to check that the price is sustained, we need to calculate the difference again. So we're going to assign another value to candles. So we're going to say candles equal mt5 copy underscore rates underscore range, and then put crypto, comma mt5 dot time frame underscore m10, comma UTC from, comma UTC2. This will pull the latest values from the MetaTrader 5 terminal, and then we will need to also reassign the difference variable again. So you can just copy and paste the difference variable once again here to reassign it a new value so that we can perform another logic check to see that if after 8 seconds the price is still up. So we're giving it the same value as before, candles close index -1 minus candles close index minus 2, and then we take all of this and we divide by candles close index minus 2 times 100. So now we have fresh data coming into our difference and into our candles. We can continue now with our logic check. So on a new line, create a new variable called price and give it the value of mt5 dot symbol underscore info underscore tick, and then in brackets add your symbol, which in our case is the variable crypto, and then dot bid. This gives us the buy price. If you put dot ask, it would give you the sell price. So now on a new line, print this new difference. And most of the times you'll notice that there is a bit of a difference between these two differences. So between the first time we check and then 8 seconds later. So we're just going to print the difference for crypto is, just like last time, round difference, comma 2. And then we also want the console to confirm that it will be placing a new buy position. So we're just saying buying at and then pulling the price variable so we can see at what price we have bought Bitcoin for. Okay, so now on a new line, same indentation level as the if statement, create an else statement and then just pass. We don't want to return anything in this case, we just want it to pass, so just add that in. I'm going to create some more space here for the trading request. On a new line, we're going to create a quick conditional statement, if not mt5.initialize function, then we're going to raise a runtime error. So in other words, if we cannot initialize the trading terminal, we're going to get the console to throw a runtime error saying that mt5 could not be initialized, and we're also going to pull the last error from the MetaTrader 5 terminal. So we can do that by saying mt5.last_error function. On a new line, create a new comment saying that we are now checking whether we have any open positions or orders. Remember that we are only going to place a trade if there are no open positions or orders on the coin that we are looking to trade. So we'll start with another conditional statement, if length, so if len positions is equivalent to 0 and the length of orders is smaller than 1. I just found out that MetaTrader 5 terminal is weird. I tried to select length orders equivalent to 0 and it would just break my script, so turns out that this works better. Okay, so we're just going to close the statement with else. So else we're going to print that we've detected a buy signal, but there are no, there's already an open position or an order. So just print buy signal detected, but crypto has, and then we pull the length, so it will say 1. This is probably not going to be a situation where there's going to be more than one open position, since we never allow for that scenario to happen in the first place logically, but I'm still mitigating just in case. I'm saying active order bracket S. So that's your conditional statement to deal with that. And then if it is true, if there are no positions and no orders, we're going to create the trading request. Now I have a pre-formatted trading request here. This is quite standard in MetaTrader 5. I'll put all the links down below so you can have access to the trading request on MetaTrader 5, as well as my GitHub repository and blog, where everything is step by step, so you can easily just follow along. We'll just fork the repository and just use the code by yourself. Okay, so now we've pasted the code in the in the last if condition, if statement. So you can see, let me explain what's going on here. So the lot represents the volume and how much of the coin we're going to buy. So we want to buy 5% equity. You see that I've left a comment here. So the way you do that, we're going to use the equity variable and divide this by 20, and then divide everything by the current buy price. So I'm going to use a bracket here. MetaTrader 5 has a lot of quirks when it comes to how you feed the data to it. So in order to make this work, I had to wrap this in a round function so that it's actually rounds by 2 decimal points, exactly the way we did with the difference variable. Oh, but it doesn't end there, it gets better. So because it's round, it doesn't see it as the type of number that would work with. So I actually had to float this as well. So creating a floating point for it. So I've actually tested this before, and this works. You don't actually have to round it if it's any other coin, but for Bitcoin you need to round it, otherwise it will not, the request will fail basically. The SL variable represents our stop loss. So stop loss is going to be price minus, and then in brackets we're going to have price times stop loss divided by 100. And TP is our take profit variable, where we're defining it as price plus, and then in brackets, price times take underscore profit divided by 100. If you want to change these values, just change the global stop loss and take profit variables. Okay, so getting into the request itself, what I've done here is I used a trade action deal. You can use other functions that are available on the MetaTrader terminal, which I will link to, like pending orders, buy limits, stop limits, and all that. Our symbol is crypto, our volume is the lot, the price is going to be price, SL is the SL variable, TP is the TP variable, and magic represents a number to be associated with the current bot, or a value to be associated with the current bot. So if you're running multiple bots on the same account and they're doing different actions, you have a way to figure out which bot did what action by giving them a different number. And that is pretty much the entire request. What you see further down below are ways to handle message errors and success, which are standard or more or less standard in the MetaTrader 5 request structure. So I'm not going to go a lot into that. You'll have access to all of that. And that pretty much concludes 99% of the build. So the only thing that we need to do now is to run the code every 5 seconds because we want to loop. This code will run, yes, but it will only run once, so we want this to run every 5 seconds. So I'm going to create a function saying if name underscore underscore name is equivalent to main, which represents, which basically says, is this the main file of the program? And if that is true, we want to print press Control C or Control Q to stop. So different Python interpreters have different shortcuts, but typically you can press one of those two combinations to stop the script from looping. For me personally, I'm using Atom and it's Control Q. And if you don't have a Python interpreter, I would really recommend you use Atom. It's a really great tool. It integrates with Kite and it has all this predictive stuff that you see on my screen. It's a pleasure to work with. So we're going to loop for I in count. We're using the count function from the iterator, and we're going to call the trade function, and we're going to print the number of the iteration so that we can see how many times it's been iterating through the code. So we do this by calling I, and lastly we're going to tell the algorithm to sleep for 5 seconds. It can be much quicker than that, but I don't think there's a need to do any more calls. It's not high frequency trading, so I think sleeping for 5 seconds is totally fine. So once that's all done, we're gonna check that the code is working, and it is not because we have a small error. I'm just gonna go up on line 78. No, yeah, okay. We are returning because I forgot to return the value from get data when I showed you guys the example. So let's check again, and it works. you can see that the difference now is 0.05% and the algorithm is trying again. It's already iterating 3 times now. And that's pretty much it. You've got yourself a working, simple Bitcoin trading bot in Python in about 30 minutes time. So if you like this video, hit like and subscribe to my channel for more crypto bot building projects like this one. If you have any suggestions on what I should be building next, please let me know in the comments below. And until next time, stay safe.